Hello and good evening, friends and family. I pray that you are all doing well. We are going live tonight, something just a little different. Tonight at 7 p.m., I will be on Source Radio Network with the amazing host, licensed couple and family therapist, Shy Porter, on her program, Transforming Your Mind. So let's call in. First, let's share this to the other pages and let's get the show on the road. We are going to be discussing this evening mommy wellness. We will be discussing fertility issues, and we will also be discussing pregnancy as well. And so let's continue sharing this here. And here we go. Let's call in now to the show.
With licensed couple and family therapist Shy Porter, and she sheds light on the many ways that your mental health can positively impact your daily experiences and how to best implement small changes that can have monumental effects on your quality of life. This show will quickly become your go-to source for great conversations, tips, and insights to help you achieve and maintain the healthy lifestyle you've always wanted. To a nation, here is your host, Shy Porter. Good evening, Source Nation. Welcome to Transforming Your Mind with me, your host, Shy Porter. This is a show where I strive to help you achieve a positive mind-body connection so that you can live a fulfilled life. And I'm so excited to help you in that journey by welcoming Dr. Julissa-Mommy back to the studio with me. We're going to be talking about mommy wellness tonight, so pregnancy and fertility issues, as well as her new book, The Naturopathic Approach to Fertility. So before I go any further, I want to thank our sponsors who made this show possible. They include WGLRO.com, Paper to Film, Revolution Mills, Scott Harris Foundation, and Urban Grid Digital. So, like I said, Dr. Julissa is in the studio with me, and I'm so excited. She is a naturopathic doctor who's been in practice for over 19 years, and she has been on the program before, so again, so excited to welcome her back. Dr. Julissa, how are you?
I am feeling divine, Shy. How are you?
Excellent. I'm also doing well. I'm so glad to get a chance to talk to you again.
So happy to be here once again. I'm actually very honored. Thank you for having me back.
Of course. Thank you. So I want to, just in case, I know you've been on Source Nation so many times, and people are probably very, very familiar with you already, but just in case there is anyone joining us tonight who's not, can you give everyone a brief background about yourself?
Wonderful. Thank you. Thank you so much. I am Dr. Julissa-Mommy, naturopathic doctor, international speaker, and a naturopathic doctor in practice. May 1st, I celebrate 22 years, Shy. And
wow.
Yeah, it's been a long time. May 1st, 1995, I opened the doors to my first office. So it's been a while, and this is my passion, my love. I am a teacher of natural medicine and a radio, television personality, and of course, I have done much radio, but so honored to be a part here of Source Radio Network, and now with you once again here on Transforming Your Mind. Thank you so much for having me.
I'm so glad you were able to join us. I cannot believe it's been that long. That's incredible. And are you still as passionate about it as you were the day that you opened your doors for the first time?
More than you can imagine. This is
Really?
really my whole life, because my mother is also a naturopathic doctor. We both studied together. We both graduated together. So I've been pretty much doing this since a teenager, you could say. And it's a blessing.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
That's incredible. Awesome.
Infertility is the sad term that is given to a couple that has been trying to conceive and has been unsuccessful in trying for a year or more. That's the label that is given to a couple that's been trying that long. And unfortunately today there are more and more couples having challenges with that, sadly enough. The reason why I was asked to write the book is because in my 22 years I have a 100% success rate helping couples that work together with me through that journey in helping them conceive. So for that reason I was asked to write the book, and it's been up to this day, let me knock on wood now, thank you God. It's a blessing when couples have come together to work with me together. His actions are coming into play, her actions are coming into play, and they are bonding and on the same page and willing to do this together, all three of us on that journey. I just got the news again a week and a half ago. I have another couple that is pregnant, so I'll be sharing that baby bump picture hopefully. Yes, I'll be sharing that baby bump picture again, as I always do when those patients feel comfortable doing so. And at the moment I'm currently working with 4 additional couples to help them conceive. So this year will be another happy one.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah.
So you mentioned infertility being a very sad and unfortunate label. Do you have a preferred word for a couple struggling to conceive, or do you just not give it anything at all?
For those that obtain my book, you'll notice that I use more the term fertility in the positive sense, and I would say challenges with fertility. I would rather say that instead of infertility, just because of the feeling itself, of the word. So you'll notice that throughout my book, I will use the phrase fertility challenges more than anything. And that was something that I told my publisher and my editor when I wrote the book. And of course, they helped with some of the tweaking and the perfection and so on there. But I made sure they could tell you that Hugo, for example, my editor, and Misha Haight, also my editor, they could tell you themselves, yep, she was adamant on not putting the word infertility in there. So you would really have to search hard. If I have it once, even twice, that would be rare. Most of the time you'll see fertility challenges.
Yeah, no, that makes sense to me. Even there's a lot of power in words, so changing that small, take those 2 letters off can make a huge difference.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
I'm curious if you have any hypotheses about why there are more couples struggling now more than ever before to conceive. What's different about the environment that we live in, or lifestyle? Do you have any ideas?
I'll share this, and I'm looking at the PDF of my book, that the final that was sent to me, so that I could refer to it. I have literally gotten rid of all of the copies that I had in my possession, and I wanted to have one here to hold and flip through during the interview, but I was not able to get another copy in time for my publisher. But I'll tell you that the first chapter is called Why Take the Naturopathic Approach to Fertility First, and the second, What Causes Infertility. And everything from medications, Shai, and so on. Let me just throw this, for example, out there. How many women are taking, for example, on a monthly basis, ibuprofen for pain, for cramps, and severe menstrual discomfort? And what a lot of them don't know is that medications like that on a constant monthly basis can cause infertility. They can cause a woman to have problems with releasing the egg for fertilization. And many women don't know that. So that's one of the aspects. Yep, that's one of the aspects that I, for example, have had to deal with many patients that I've helped with fertility. And something that they never took into account. They're popping maybe 3, 4, 6 Advil or Motrin or whatever it may be, ibuprofen brand that they'll be using per day during their period just to calm pain and discomfort. Now, why are they having that? Let's discuss that. Another challenge that I find is Shy, the excessive hormones in meats and the chicken and the beef and so on. So estrogen dominance very much playing a part, whether that's causing a woman to then have endometriosis, whether it is causing the fact that she then has uterine fibroids, which are also causing an issue, but more than anything, endometriosis causing challenges with fertility. And that hormonal imbalance there with the man, if he's ingesting a lot of animal meats that are not organic, for example, I would rather them turn more vegetarian when they're working with me in the first place. I would have to say that I'm not a big proponent of eating any animal meats, but if they are an meat eater, and we have to modify the diet somehow, and they're finding it difficult to go completely vegetarian. Well, if you're not eating those organic meats, then the man, for example, eating a lot of those hormone-laden meats will have low testosterone levels, and he needs to have healthy, testosterone levels, yes, to have healthy, fertile body to be able to produce babies. Another aspect that many, and I'll leave this with the third, top three, I would say, believe it or not, it's a lot of emotional imbalance that I find as well, whether it's fears or unresolved forgiveness. If we go back to, for example, Chinese medicine, and I love to incorporate both naturopathic, holistic medicine, and Chinese medicine in my work, and you'll find that the kidneys are the root of the health of the reproductive system, and the emotions that tend to weaken the kidneys are fear and unresolved forgiveness. So I'll have, Shy, for example, a couple that is on the same page, Shy, they're on the same page, they want that baby, but they're holding maybe resentments or anger challenges, and that is something I have to work with in helping them lift so that the kidneys are not overburdened and they can function the way they need to, and they can nourish the reproductive system the way it needs to be nourished, and so on. So it's a number of things, and you'll find each chapter, I'd love to detail them as far as my book. You have to really, I noticed that I did 12 years of work there and putting that material together to be able to share that with everyone so they could really get how that does affect and harbor problems within the body.
Yeah, excellent. So I have several questions. So one, could you just give us an overview of the book? So you mentioned in the beginning, why would you go the naturopathic route? So how does the book proceed from there?
Okay, so first chapter, why take the naturopathic approach to fertility? Many couples don't know that they have an alternative. They feel in vitro is the only way to go, and artificial insemination is the only way to go. And no, it is so important for them to know that they can work on achieving a natural pregnancy in a loving, divine manner. So second chapter, what causes infertility, and I go very much into detail as far as the men challenges that the men are dealing with today as far as challenges there in females. After that, medications that hinder fertility, and I discuss everything from, for example, medications for epilepsy all the way up to what I mentioned a moment ago, like painkillers like ibuprofen, non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs, NSAIDs. Next chapter, how your thoughts and emotions impact fertility. And I want people to understand this book is not only for those that want to have a baby. I have put in here the information for any woman or any man or a couple together who want to achieve true, healthy sexual reproductive system health. And so it's for everyone that wants to attain that. Next chapter, hormonal imbalances can interfere and even prevent conception. So I discuss hormonal imbalances in men, hormonal imbalances in women. The next chapter, how circulation problems impact fertility. So think of how many women out there, Shy, for example, have varicose veins. And that already tells me that there's poor circulatory flow in the lower part of the body. And so if that's the case, then I most likely have that severe and very strong hunch there that is probably most likely right, that the reproductive system isn't receiving true nutrients the way that it should. So that's something that I discuss in pure detail there as well. A man, for example, will have high cholesterol, high triglycerides. That makes the circulatory system sluggish. And so then I can consider there, all right, there may be issues where the reproductive system is not receiving enough blood, not receiving enough oxygen, and that can also cause a hindrance of fertility there. Okay? Next, how sexually transmitted diseases affect fertility. And I discuss everything from herpes to bacterial vaginosis and more, candida, gonorrhea, chlamydia, how these things can scar the reproductive system, cause fertility challenges in men and women. So it's a very detailed chapter as well. So even if you had that problem in the past, you got treated for it, but they don't really take into account that there could be scarring left over from that, and that we have to help, the reproductive system heal from that, right? After that is the chapter just for men called Sperm Counts. and I discuss it in detail how so important it is for sperm mobility, sperm motility. I discuss everything from how cigarettes and marijuana affects sperm, the sperm health. We want the head to be formed normally. We want the tail to be well formed of sperm as well, because we don't want her body to reject the sperm. And that's something that sometimes can happen when you have those sad moments of where she's, for example, miscarried and no one knows why. Some things that are important to think about when it comes to that. Next chapter, lifestyle practices that affect fertility. And I then discuss everything how from even your occupation could affect fertility. Firemen, for example, have a high rate of having challenges with fertility because of the chemicals that the chemicals that they are exposed to. Dentists and I would say those assistants to oral, surgeries and things of that sort, dentistry, they also are known to have high percentages of having challenges there. I even discuss how your home could be causing you to have fertility challenges. The chemicals that they put on, for example, our furniture, sofas, and so on, to keep them stain resistant, can actually cause challenges with fertility.
Wow.
Yeah.
So that's so important. I don't think people would just naturally come to that conclusion. Maybe.
Yep, exactly. And I even discussed the water that comes into your home and what you're exposing yourself to, how that affects as well. Yep. After that, you have the chapter called The Role of Diet, and I discuss all of the foods that cause problems there. I discuss coffee, and how when you intake 300 milligrams of caffeine or more a day, you're twice as likely to suffer from delayed conception. Now, I also state, why would you want to count the milligrams? Stop it altogether if your true desire, right, is to have that baby. And then they're like, well, how much is a cup then? How many milligrams is a cup, Dr. Julissa? No. We're removing that from the diet. What I am is very adamant and very strict. If you come to me for help, I expect you to follow the recommendations. So I detail it all out there. And then the last chapter is the holistic and right way to calculate a woman's ovulation cycle. And I teach them how to do that in a very traditional way, a very authentic way. I know that there are a lot of apps out there that help ladies calculate when they're ovulating, and it becomes a bit mechanical when they're like, okay, honey, tonight's the night, and it almost feels like a job. I completely eliminate that from working with my couples. I discuss in that last chapter, and I really did leave the best for last, because I discuss their intimacy. I discuss how important it is to have sex during the perfect time of day, which is what Chinese medicine teaches us. There's a certain circulation sex time where fertility tends to be heightened. I discussed that as well. Oh yes, Chinese medicine teaches us that. I also discuss, very much in detail also how to bring down those walls and how to take your time with each other, how to rise and fall together. Yes, studies have shown that it is not necessary for a woman to obtain an orgasm to conceive. However, it has also shown in other studies that it does help when a woman is orgasming to help sperm travel. In other words, just because of the contractions during, for example, that she experiences during the moment of orgasm. So I discuss all of that and how if they can work in a certain way to wait and experience that heightened moment of pleasure together. I also discuss the best positions known to help with fertility, just because it tends to be a direct via for sperm to travel. So I discuss all of that in detail. I also discuss, the preservation of qi, and how the Chinese also view sexuality and healthy sexual practices, maintaining the genitals clean and so on and so forth. I go into detail. So, and after that is the glossary, where each herb that I mentioned in each chapter, and know that also in each chapter, I actually refer to a couple that had that specific challenge or issue that I discussed in that chapter. So you'll find names are changed, but without you guys knowing, you've seen photos of those, baby bumps and couples that I've taken pictures with, and I've changed names within the book and so on, so that people can have a more personal experience of understanding, well, okay, wow, we're going through that too, and they can feel the emotions that those couples went through when they had to share certain private things with me, and we help them overcome them.
Incredible. Surf Nation, if you are just now joining us, I have been speaking with Dr. Julissa. This is Transforming Your Mind, and I am your host, Shad Porter. Please give us a call if you have any questions. The number here is 619-924-0933, and then press option 1. Otherwise, you can leave us a message on Facebook because Dr. Julissa is streaming live. So, thank you for that. It was very informative. And there are so many chapters that I would love to hear more about. One overarching question that I have, though, is, so say that a couple comes to you and it's April. What's your general timeline? Do you tell them, this usually takes about X amount of weeks or months, or do you say this is a really individual journey and it depends on all of these superfluous factors?
I ask them to give us, and I say us meaning us three, their dedication of being consistent and following through with my recommendations for 90 days. Within those 90 days, within those 90 days, she's had 2 or 3 menstrual periods, and immediately after that period, after that third, then they try to conceive. That's usually the way it happens. Some have gone ahead and after 30 days get pregnant because they just couldn't help themselves. What I need to explain though is, and I mentioned that in the book. They'll find the story of a young lady whose uterus was perforated because she had an IUD. She underwent surgery to repair it, and the doctors told her that she should have no problem conceiving. Meanwhile, she already had a daughter. She was in a new relationship, and he had never had any children. They were trying for some time, couldn't conceive. They came to me. He is epileptic, and he was on medications and so on. So I discuss all that there. But 30 days later, she got pregnant. They just couldn't help themselves. What I do give in my herbal therapy programs is a specific herb that works as an aphrodisiac as well, apart from its history also being the fact that it helps to strengthen male and female reproductive systems. So, yes, that's the quickest I've ever had a couple conceive. Um, I'll tell you this other, some people say, well, I want twins, Dr. Julissa. Now, wait. In my 22 years, in my 22 years shy, I've only had one couple, one, that that had twins, and that was because it ran in her family and his family. A beautiful couple. The girl, she looked just like Iman. They were both from South Africa. A beautiful couple. Right now, the children, because she had one girl and one boy, they're about 8 years old now. So that's the only couple I've ever helped. So a young lady that got pregnant around the same time as she did, I'm helping her with her second right now because she's in another relationship, and it seems that I guess both of her partners have had challenges because she, conceived with no problem after I helped him out. Um, so I'm helping, and we were talking about that recently, and she's like, "Oh yeah, but you think I could have twins too? I remember she got pregnant at the same time I did." I said, "Hon, let's just think. I can't promise that. Only if it runs in both. That's the only way I saw it work."
Yeah, no, that makes sense.
Yes.
That makes sense. So I want to make sure that we give mommies practical advice or tips moving forward. So since this is a mommy wellness segment, do you have any particular takeaway that you want hopeful mommies to know?
I'll tell you what I recommend immediately once I know that they've taken their pregnancy test and we know they're pregnant. So 90 days went by, at least 60 to 90 days have gone by. They tried, she conceived. I immediately tell her not to do certain movements. This may sound strange to all of you, but I'm traditional, I'm old fashioned, this is what I say. I can't have you doing any housework. So for as soon as I know that she's conceived, that first month in my eyes is extremely crucial. I can't have any risk of loss, any risk of anything. So no movements that are like vacuuming, mopping, or sweeping. If you notice, and if you were to just kind of think about doing that movement right now, Shy, imagine yourself sweeping, mopping, or vacuuming. We tend to clench a bit our pelvic area when we're doing that sort of movement. Can you imagine? Can you picture it right now? So I can't have them doing anything like that. As far as very strenuous exercise, no, I do recommend walking, maybe speed walking, nothing strenuous, and no weightlifting in the first 30 days. I don't recommend it at all. So if we're talking mommy wellness, and one of our listeners here with you have just found out that she's pregnant, I don't recommend that. I also don't recommend sex in the first 30 days when I know that she's conceived, just because, again, I want her to take care of herself like gold, which we should all do that every single day of our lives. But she's got to be really careful. She has to be really just put herself on that pedestal and just take it easy. I also tell them no watching the news. I know it sounds strange, it sounds weird, but everything that goes in us visually, auditory wise as well, I just the baby gets it, they just get it all. So I don't want her getting upset. We don't want her being stressed out. People come to you with all their problems for you to solve them. In those first 30 days, you're not handling everybody's issues. Okay. So I literally, that's, and it may sound strange. I'm a holistic approach. I know that everything can affect us. So we have to be very grounded and very centered to be able to not allow those things to affect us. And of course, I do recommend that without overstepping any boundaries of religion, that she continue with prayer, whatever her practices, meditation, most definitely focusing and visualizing the baby, visualizing the little clothes they're going to put on that child, visualizing how great her birth is going to be, that she wants it to be natural, that, she is going to nurse, that she is going to breastfeed, all of that I talk with them through. And that's what I recommend. After those 30 days, I do recommend they continue to exercise, eating well, of course. I don't recommend that they all intake any chemical prenatals. I always give a very natural prenatal as soon as I know that they've conceived. I recommend something like that that doesn't contain any alum or aluminum, because that causes them to be nauseous and feel sick. That morning sickness hurts so many women, where they start to dread the pregnancy. And on the contrary, I want her to love every single day of it, every single moment. Um, so uh, that and of course the eating well, those are some of the things that I would recommend. Not eating shellfish and fish. You have to be very careful. It has to be very well cooked. Eating as healthy as possible. I need her to visualize that every single thing that she brings into her body, that baby will receive. So you want to give your child the best, organic foods and so on.
That certainly makes sense to me from top to bottom. Dr. Lisa, I'm so glad that you came on, and I'm so excited to have you next week to talk about daddy wellness. Before I let you go, can you just give everyone your contact information in case they would like to follow you or to support you in any way?
Sure, of course. Thank you so much once again for having me, Shai. You can all find my information at drjulissa.com. That's drjulissa.com. I have there over 200 articles that I've written, and you can also find the links there to the book for those of you that are Spanish speaking, have Spanish speaking family or Spanish speaking friends. The book is now available in both languages, Spanish and English, and you can find the links there on my website. And thank you, Shai, for having me. So get ready to receive your copy, dear.
Yay!
I am personally going to sign that. It's an honor.
Oh my God, thank you so much.
No, I'm honored. Thank you.
Excellent. Well, we will definitely continue this conversation next week. And of course, if anyone would like to reach out to Dr. Lisa, she just gave you her contact information, but otherwise, we can talk again next Thursday at 7.
Awesome. And when you receive it, take a picture for me. I want to see you.
I absolutely will.
Okay.
I promise.
Wonderful. It was an honor to be here. Thanks, Shai, for having me.
Of course. Have a good night.
You too. Bye-bye, everyone.